Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Tax Talk Tuesday. Welcome to another day where we are talking about taxes, we're talking about business finances, and we are talking about your business in general. So every Tuesday, we're here at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, getting ready to talk about taxes, right? And if you are a business owner, these lives are specifically for you so that you can know how to better make decisions in your business so that you can have the ultimate financial success that you deserve to have as a business owner. Okay. So these lives, they were created specifically for you so that, like I said, so that you can have the ultimate financial success in business. Why? Because you deserve it, right? We always talk about our goal is to make sure we're keeping the IRS out of our pockets so that we can live a better life. And I want you to believe and receive that you are somebody, that you are someone who is capable of having a better life as a result of the tips that you're going to be getting, as a result of you being a business owner and being able to make the CEO decisions that you need to make in your business in order to have a better life. Notice that I said making CEO decisions. Sometimes we go into business and we have that operator mind frame where we're just doing the work in the business, managing the clients, seeing the clients. But we have to remember that we are also the business owner, and we also have to make sure that we are wearing that business owner hat appropriately. Okay, we have to make sure that we are wearing and turning on that business owner hat, because there's a different level of decision making that comes when we are being the owner versus being the business operator. And many of us stay in the operator position way too long, far too long, without transitioning or turning on that business owner hat so that we can get the results, so that we can get the results that we need to have in our business in order to have the ultimate financial success. So I want to say greetings to my Facebook group, Social Workers and Therapists with Tax Questions. So if you are tuning in, joining in from Social Workers and Therapists with Tax Questions, good morning to you. I hope you're having an amazing day. Everyone else who's on Facebook and who's on TikTok, greetings to you as well. If you're new to me, I'm Chastity Grady. Again, at my company, Grady Tax Plus, our goal is to make sure that we are keeping the IRS out of your pocket so that you can live a better life. And one of the ways that we are doing that for you is providing the education that you need so that you can make the best decisions for yourself, okay? Providing the education, the tax education, the business education, the finance education that you need so that you can make the best decisions in order to have the better life that you deserve to have, okay? So, the past couple weeks, we have talked about understanding small business taxes. We've talked about the difference between expenses versus deductions. So, make sure you go back and watch those replays, because Facebook no longer allows you to keep your replays up for more than 30 days. So make sure you go back and watch the replays for understanding small business taxes. Go back and watch the replay for understanding an expense versus a tax deduction, because the two are not the same. And on today, we are talking about understanding the language of business. Good morning, Rebecca. Today we are understanding the language of business, or we're understanding business language. Now, this topic is very important because, again, as business owners, we need to know how can we have the ultimate financial success in business that we want, that we strive for, that we hope that we can have, that we desire, that we see in our mind for ourselves. How can we be able to receive that and maintain that, right? And one of those ways is understanding what this business language is. We get into business, as I mentioned just previously, we get into business being the business operator, but we have to understand that there is another hat that we have to wear. There is another level of decision making that we have to make, and it's not the same as the one who's operating, who's doing the work, dealing with the clients, actually fulfilling the orders, right, or fulfilling the services. There is another hat that we have to put on, and that hat is the business owner. So with this hat that we're wearing today, we're wearing the business owner hat today. Okay, so go ahead and take off that operator hat and we're putting on that business owner hat. And as the business owner, whether or not you went to school to understand business, whether you went to school uh, to get a business degree or whatever it is. None of that matters. None of that matters, because the day that you decided that I am going to operate a business, I am going to own a business, you, my friend, you have now taken on another hat. You have put on another hat. And I want you to wear this hat on today, which is a business owner hat. So, anybody who goes into business, I want to recommend to you that you start reading books about business. And I know I know people always telling y'all, oh, read this book, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, read this book. You know, all these books people tell you to read. But there's a reason. There's a reason why people recommend that you read certain books, and that's so you can understand the language of business, so you can understand how I'm going to operate this business, how I'm going to own this business, how am I going to be successful in business. So what I want to break down for you is the business language, which is accounting. If you ever take an accounting 101 class, like the first sentence you read or within the first paragraph, it will tell you that accounting is the language of business. That's what the textbook says. The textbook says accounting is the language of business. So why are we talking about this? Listen, accounting is the language of business. So if accounting is the language of business and I am in business, that means I have to learn, I have to know about accounting. And accounting is the one subject that many of us like to run away from, but I need you to run to it. I need you to run to this word accounting like it's nobody's business. I want you to run to this word as if your life, your business life depended on it, because it does. The textbook, it says that accounting is the language of business. So in order for me to be a successful business owner, in order for me to operate my business, I got to know a little bit. I got to know a little bit about accounting, a little something. I have to know a little something about accounting. And I want to encourage you this morning. I want to urge you this morning to not be afraid of this word. Because this word, accounting, is going to help you get to the financial success that you desire and that you deserve to have. So we're going to talk about just the basics. This is something that I do teach you in the 90-day bookkeeping bootcamp, where I teach you how to understand this language, how to maneuver this language, how to make decisions with this language. I teach you all of that. And I'm going to give you a 101 here today during this live. Okay, y'all ready? Let me know if y'all ready for this. Let me know if y'all are ready for this. You are ready to run to this word accounting so that you can have the financial success that you deserve. Okay, this is it. This is it. This is what is going to set you apart from the people who never cross over to six figures and beyond. This is what is going to set you apart. And if you want to be set apart today, say I'm ready. Okay, say I'm ready in the comments. All right, so here we go. When it comes to accounting, there are a few things that I want you to keep in mind. Okay, I'm not going to drag this out. I want you to get this very quickly. Okay, I want you to get this very quickly so we can get you to where you want to go, to where you need to go in your business. So in accounting, there's a few things you need to understand. One of the things that I see a lot of times that people they focus on the reporting of whatever payment processing system that you use. If you're on TikTok, double tap the screen. People focus on the payment processing system that you use. So if you use Stripe, if you use Square, if you, for my therapists and social workers, if you take insurance or whatever it is, sometimes you just rely on just looking at that report, looking at the income that you brought in, or here's the word revenue, the revenue that you brought in. Many times you're focusing on that revenue, but there's a different number that you need to focus on in order to make decisions with. There's a difference between the revenue that you brought in. Okay, the revenue is all the money that people are paying you. The money that people pay you or that you're anticipating to make if you're on accrual basis, and accrual, that's a whole nother accounting term. I don't know if I'll break it down today, but just remember that word accrual. Most of us are cash. So the money that we receive right now, I'm counting that as my revenue. That's what I made. And a lot of times we are stuck in making decisions on the revenue that we made, but there's a different number that we need to focus on when it comes to our decision making. When it comes to our decision making, yes, the revenue, that's a great number, right? But we have to focus on the net. Okay, somebody write the net in the comments. The net, N-E-T. We have to focus on the net. And last week we talked about the difference between expenses, business expenses, and tax deductions, right? Business expenses are things that we are actually paying for. So we have the revenue, the money that we made, the money that people paid us that came into the business, and then we have our business expenses, the things that we paid for, the things that are going out of our account, whether that's for software, whether that's for supplies, office expenses, whatever it is. Those are your business expenses. And after we've made the money, after we spent some of the money, we are left with our net profit, our net income. Those words are used interchangeably. And those are two words that I want you to know, either net income or net profit. That is the number that we need to have, that we need to know in order to base our decision making. Okay, we need that number in order to base our decision making. And in order to get to that number, you do have to have a level of system or a tool that you're using to maintain, to manage your business money. So yes, we can have our reports from our squares, our stripes, all of the things. But we also need to have record of the money that we are spending against the money that came in. So let's say today, if $500 came in, but I spent 300 of it, I'm left with $200. I need a system to show me that I need to visually see that I am left with that $200, that I really don't have that $500 because I spent 300 of it already. So I'm left with $200. That is my net profit for the day. So I need to know what my net profit is for the month. And depending on how you make your decisions, I would encourage you to decide if I'm going to make my decisions on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or a monthly basis. At the end of the year, we're focused on the year. It's good to follow how you are doing year to date. So from January to August 19th, that will be year to date. This is how I'm doing. But I need you to decide if I'm going to keep track of my net profit on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or a monthly basis. Most people do it on a weekly or a monthly basis. And the reason why I need to know that, because I need to know when I am making my decisions. Am I making decisions with my net profit from a weekly standpoint or a monthly standpoint? Okay, let's focus on that net profit for just a second. Why do I need to focus on my net profit? Because most of you who are not an S Corp, your decision making is going to fall within the parameters of your net profit. The decision making that you're going to make in your business, okay, understanding that business language, right? The decision making that you're going to make in your business is going to come out of the net profit. It's going to come out of what am I ultimately left with at the end of the week or at the end of the month? What am I left with? Because what I am left with, I am going to take taxes out of that. I am going to take my business savings out of that. And I am going to pay myself out of that, which is the most important thing. Paying yourself, right? You didn't get into business, just to look cute, just to say you have a practice if you're a social worker or a therapist, or you didn't just go into business just to be doing something. You went into business because you wanted to have a better life. You wanted to support yourself. You didn't want to be a part of the bureaucratic government system or nonprofit or whatever private entity that you can work for. You don't want to be a part of that, or you want to transition yourself out of that system, right? You didn't go into business to not pay yourself. You went into business to have a better life so you could pay yourself what you deserve to be paid. And a lot of times we are paying ourselves out of the wrong bucket. We are using the wrong decision making tool, the wrong bucket to pay ourselves with. So remember that word revenue, right? We have our revenue and we have our net profit. The revenue, the money that you brought in, the people, the clients that paid you. The net profit is after you spent some of that money, what you're left with. What are you left with at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month? So, like I said, most of us, sometimes we look at that revenue. Oh, that revenue looks so good. I can pay myself a little bit more money this month, or I can really pay myself what I deserve to have for this month or for this week because of what the revenue looks like. But you will find that when you pay yourself out of the revenue and not after you have paid for the business liabilities, that's another language word, liabilities, which is the things that you owe, the things that you got to pay, right? You are left with that net profit, and that's where you have to pay yourself from. That bucket, not the revenue bucket. Paying yourself, listen, watch this word I'm about to use. Paying yourself out of the revenue bucket will leave you being broke at the end of the week and at the end of the month. It will leave you being broke. It will leave you being cash poor. In our business, we do not want to be cash poor. Okay, we have to have money that we can actually have access to in our business so that we don't have to rely on credit, so that we don't have to rely on loans. And although that sounds really good, getting business funding, getting business credit, but if you are relying on business funding, if you are relying on business credit to operate your business, then you will find yourself not being able to truly have a cash successful, a cash profitable business. Because sometimes we can actually have a net profit. We actually made money in the business. We actually have something left over that the IRS is taxing us on. But when we look at, okay, let's give us an example. Let's say you made $100,000. You spent $30,000. That leaves you with $70,000. The IRS is going to tax you on $70,000. And many times we were like, well, oh, I made $70,000 or I have that left over, but I don't see $70,000 in my account. I see a whole bunch of credit card debt in my account. I see maybe a little red number that I don't want to, or a very low number in my bank account that I'm not happy with, but I don't see that 70,000. So how's the IRS able to tax me on $70,000 that I don't have in my bank account? Like the numbers, they mean so much. And you have to understand which each number means so you can make your best decisions, right? So you can't pay yourself from the revenue. The IRS is not even going to tax you on your revenue. They're going to tax you on after you paid for your eligible liabilities, after you've paid for your business expenses, or if you tax plan, after you did your tax plan and you got your tax deductions in place for that. This is what the IRS is going to tax you on, that net profit, what you have left over, which is why I said with that net profit, you are basing your taxes on, you're paying taxes out of that. I often see people who are paying or who are estimating their taxes based off the revenue that you make, and that's not the correct bucket to use. We're using the net profit. The IRS is allowing us to write off things that we needed to have in our business in order to sustain it or make money. So we can write that off. The IRS is not penalizing us for making that full $100,000 in this example, okay? In this example, they're not penalizing us for making $100,000. They're taxing us on what we have after we have spent some money in our business, after we have paid out people, after we have paid our softwares, we bought computers, we bought desks, we bought all of these things. The IRS says we're going to allow you to do that. And after you've done that, we want a portion of what's left over, which is your net profit. So that's where all the decision making comes from. This is why this number is so important. And we have to know this number. In business, we have to know our net profit, whether on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and for sure on a yearly basis when we're ready to file our taxes. So you can imagine where I'm getting in this segment of the live, that it's very important that we are keeping track of our business income and expenses, and we have a method that we're doing this. And in fact, the IRS says on their website that there must be a way that you're keeping up with your records. There must be a way that you're managing your income and expenses. There must be a way that you are tracking this, because if we were to audit you, we are going to look at this. We're going to need you to provide the information to us. Okay? We're going to need you to provide that information to us if we were to request it. So, as a business owner, get this, owner, not the operator. As the business owner, you must have a way that you're keeping track of the money. Yes, you have their reports, but how does all the reports come together? There needs to be a system where all of my income, all of my expenses, I can see that in one setting, in one system, in one tool. I have to use a way of doing that. So now that you know this information, no longer should you say, if I ask you, how do you keep track of your business money? Do you have a spreadsheet or anything? If you don't have a spreadsheet, at the bare minimum, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I hate to use that word, but you are setting yourself up for financial failure if you are not looking at your numbers. I started this live off letting you know that accounting is the language of business. So if I'm going to be a business owner, if I'm going to be in this business and say that I am operating my practice, I'm operating my business to a level of standard, then I have to. Even though I didn't go to school for this, I have to know a little bit about accounting in order to have the ultimate financial success in business. I have to. The definition of business includes knowing accounting. And I know, like I mentioned before, I know we would like to run from this word. Oh, I didn't go to school for that, so I don't have to worry about that. You absolutely do have to worry about it, because if the IRS were to come to you, you saying, "Oh, I didn't go to school for accounting, I don't need to know that," or you saying "I don't know" to the IRS is the best thing you can do for the IRS. If you want to be in favor of the IRS, saying you didn't know anything about keeping track with your business expenses and all of that, for you to say that, they will have a field day, because now they can say, "Oh, I don't know if this business expense was ordinary and necessary for you to produce income. I don't know that. You don't know, then I don't know. So let's go ahead and just take that business expense away, since you don't know, and let's tax you on a little bit more money." Remember, our goal is to make sure that we are keeping the IRS out of our pockets. In order for us to keep the IRS out of our pockets, we have to know what our business expenses are. We got to keep track of that. There's buckets. Even within the expenses, there's buckets that our expenses belong to. They belong to an advertising bucket. They belong to an office expense bucket. They belong to a supply bucket. There's different buckets that our expenses belong to, and we have to tell the IRS these buckets. We have to tell the IRS these buckets that our expenses belong to. So this is why you have to keep track of it. And I'm so passionate about it, because I want you to be financially successful in business, because this is how you're able to help the people you are called to serve. You are able to help the people that you are called to serve by being financially successful in business. This is your right. So I'm passionate about it. And I'm speaking to you in a certain way about it, because after today, you can no longer use this as an excuse that I don't know. I don't know is no longer a good answer. You must know. You decided that you were going to be in business. And so as a business owner, I got to start reading some stuff. I got to start taking some classes. I got to start doing something different if I want to be financially successful in business. I don't want to just go from deposit to deposit, waiting on the next deposit to hit in order to eat my next meal. I don't want to live a life like that. And you should not live a life like that. You should not live a life like that as a business owner, maybe as a business operator. But if we want to have the ultimate financial success in business, we got to put on that owner's hat. We got to start looking at things from a different lens, with a different lens. We have to. We have to. So, no longer after today will you not track your expenses and putting them in the buckets. Well, Chastity, tell me, how can I put my expenses in these buckets that you're talking about? How do I do that? At the bare minimum, good morning on TikTok. At the bare minimum, at least having a spreadsheet. I created a magnificent spreadsheet for you that allows you to put things into buckets. You can put things in the advertising bucket. You can put things in the office expense bucket, and then meals, travel, legal and professional, contractors, whatever it is, whatever buckets, however many buckets. There's over 20 buckets, okay? The spreadsheet allows you to be able to do that so that you can see your net profit. If you're using a spreadsheet where you're just typing in the money that you made, the expenses that you spent, and that's it, and putting the amount, that's it. I need you to upgrade. I need you to come into 2025 now. We're moving into 2026. I need you to upgrade just a little bit. Just take a step up from that. And this is going to help you so you can put things in those buckets so that you can be able to see your net profit. This spreadsheet allows you to do that. Now, and I'll put that in the comments for you on Facebook, on TikTok. Get with me, DM me, or follow me on Facebook so that you can see my links. For those of you who are like, you know what? I am in business. I am putting on my business owner hat. I am going to understand this language of business that you're talking about, this accounting, understanding what to do with my net profit, how to put my taxes in the bucket, how to put my savings in the bucket, how to put what I'm paying myself. How do I determine all of those three things out of my net profit? Because I don't want to go broke in business. I don't want to be cash poor in business. If that's something that's resonating with you, you don't want to be cash poor. You don't want to be broke. And that word sounds very heavy, but you need to hear it. You don't want to be broke in business. You want to be able to have a business that you're proud of, that you're able to serve your clients out of, that you're able to rise up in the morning and be thankful and be grateful and happy that you get to operate a business, that you get to own a business that is on its way to having the financial success that it deserves to have. And you want to take it up a notch. You want to actually put on this business owner hat. You want to be able to actually produce the financial statements. We didn't even get to that part of the language with accounting, the financial statements that you need. So if you were to purchase a home, if you were to get a car, if you needed to get a new place to live, and they ask you for your financial statements, you can produce this for them with ease, with the click of a button. With the click of a button, you can do this. If this is you, then I want to encourage you. I want to invite you to join our 90-day bookkeeping bootcamp. This bootcamp is something that I teach 3 times a year. We're getting ready to start our August classes. We are starting our August classes, and this week is the final week that you can enroll for August. After that, I am going to do this class in October, and that will be it for the year. You will miss your opportunity to be able to be free in your business, financially free, to have those tools and resources that we talked about, to gain that level of knowledge, to put on that business owner hat. You will miss your opportunity if you do not join either the August or the October class. Now, I'm telling you up front so that you know, because I know August is now and maybe you're not prepared. But come October, we're enrolling for October starting next month in September. And September is literally just 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away. And I want you to be able to end this year when you start this in October, November, December for our 90 days, you will be able to end this year knowing where you stand in business and knowing, okay, come January 1st, this is what we're doing. This is what we have to do and come January 1st in order to be financially successful, in order to have different, better results than we did in 2025. Because the goal in business to always to accelerate, not to accelerate, but to go to the next level. Okay. The goal in business to go to the next level. You don't want to be stagnant. I know it may look good to have a business where maybe you're making $100,000 each year, but the goal is to increase that, because if business expenses increase and if your income stays the same, then you find yourself falling short with that net profit eventually. So the goal in business is to always increase, even if it's by 10%, increasing the revenue that you're making, because as you increase, the business expenses increase as well. Inflation, that increases. And so you want to make sure that your business is prepared for those moments. And you being able to go through this 90-day bookkeeping bootcamp will help you to see that. We will be able to compare how you did during certain quarters of the year. And if you have a system in place currently, a bookkeeping system in place, I'm going to show you how to master using it, how to really use it to its maximum potential so that you can get the full benefit of what you're paying for. Or if it's free, so you can get the full benefit of what you're using. Okay? Let me know in the chat if this was some bars for you. By bars, if this was gems, if I gave you some gems today, let me know in the comments if you received a gem and what your favorite gem was. What are you taking with you from today? What are you taking with you from this live that's going to push you to take action on what you need to do next in your business? Let me know in the comments. I would love to read. What's one thing that you're going to do, or what's one takeaway that you're taking away, so that's going to help you make the next best decision you need to make as the business owner, with that business owner hat on. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this live. I hope you were able to gain more clarity and understanding and not run away from accounting, but run to. Like I said, I didn't touch on a whole lot about it, but let me tell you, when you understand just a little bit of it, just a little bit of it, it's going to be for the better for your business. It's going to be for the better. Whenever I'm doing a speaking, whenever I'm teaching, I tell people all the time, I want you to get comfortable with saying the word money. I want you to get so comfortable with saying the word money. When you think of the word money, that it's not stressful, it's not overwhelming, it's not causing you anxiety. Even if your circumstances have not changed and maybe your relationship with money is not on the positive side, but you can still hear that word money. You can still deal with that word money and you not run away from it. That's how being in business should be. You should be able to hear the word money. You should be able to hear the word accounting and it not scare you and you not run away from it, that you run to it, because guess what? You want a better outcome for your business. So you're going to run to that word money. You're going to run to that word accounting, because you want to have a better outcome for yourself in business. So if you want to have a better outcome for your business, then I want you to run to this. I want you to run to this 90-day bookkeeping bootcamp. And I'm going to put the link in the comments for you on Facebook. I want you to run to this. You need to be running. You need to be clicking that link as fast as you can. And again, I'm going to leave it in the comments for you. You need to run to this. And if, like I said, I gave you an alternative, if you're ready to just upgrade from not doing anything at all to maybe just listing things out on a spreadsheet that's disorganized, that does not give you your net profit. I will also put in the comments your business finance tracker. Your business finance tracker, which allows you to put the things in the buckets. It still allows you to put the things in the buckets. And it also comes with a video tutorial on how to use it. And it's only $37. You pay $37 once to have this spreadsheet to use for the duration of however you want to use it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this live. Hashtag replay, comment hashtag replay if you're catching the replay. Let me know that you are here with me. Let me know that you joined me, that you joined this live. Let me know that you were able to gain a piece of information to help you move the needle in your business to being so much closer to the ultimate financial success that you deserve to have and that you desire to have in your business. And I will see you back here at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time next Tuesday. If you're following my live series on Friday, we will be going live on Friday for Fire Your Boss Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. But as it relates to Tax Talk Tuesday, this will wrap up for today. I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for coming and waking up with me and joining me. And I will see you back here Tuesday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time.